Welcome back to the channel, guys. As promised, I'm going to be providing you with a brand new video every single week that focuses on real estate investment. Stick around, you're not going to want to miss this. I'm giving you my 5 top tips for anyone who wants to get started in real estate. Also, as always, if you like the video, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, just smash all the buttons that are in the below area there of your window, and that's going to help the YouTube algorithm. It's going to promote me. It's going to make me want to do more videos. Thank you for that. Also, just as a quick heads up in terms of what's coming up in the future, I'm going to make a couple of videos that focus specifically on each one of these individual points because I'm going to dive deeper into each point. I'm also going to be doing a case study of investments that I'm undertaking in the next 3 to 6 months. In real estate, I'm going to walk you through the entire process. I'm going to show you everything that I do in order to find a good property, and I'll also bring you along with me throughout the entire process. So again, if you haven't liked, if you haven't subscribed, do it now. It's going to be worth your time. Thanks, and here we go with the video. Starting off, my first tip number 1, the most important thing. If you want to get started in real estate, if you want to be successful, you need to find a high income skill. Huge part of it. If you want to get into real estate investment and you want to scale up quick, you need to have capital coming in, right? It's going to help with cash flow. It's going to help with securing financing. There's a number of ways you can achieve this, right? You can go to school and get an education and find a job that pays good money. That would include anything to do with being a doctor, being a lawyer, being an engineer. All of those would be helpful, right? Keep that in mind. That's the longer route. It's a lot more work in the long term. But if you do that, if you secure that financial stability that you have, it's going to be a lot easier for you to scale your real estate business, right? Because you can, first off, you're going to have a lot more education. You're going to have connections with people. You're going to be better poised to make an impact on the market. If you don't want to take that route, there's other routes you can take. Obviously, you can find, you can get into the trades, you can get into sales positions, you can get into, car sales, real estate sales. A lot of positions in that nature will help you earn the type of money you need in order to be successful in real estate. Now, again, I don't want to give you this perception that you need a lot of money to get started into real estate, but you definitely need more money to get started into real estate in other places, right? If you're going to do drop shipping, if you're going to do Amazon FBA, if you're doing any of these other alternative sources, anything online, you're going to need a lot less money to get started. Real estate's a little different. You're going to need some money to get started. And it helps a lot, like I said, to scale your business if you have substantial money coming in, because then you can take advantage of opportunities that present themselves in the market. All right, so that's tip number 1. Secure yourself a high income job. The other thing I want to stress is that if you can't find any of these high earning jobs, you can also just get a second job. Get enough income coming in any ways you can do it, right? If you don't want to go to school, if you don't work some of these sales jobs, if you don't feel that you are an extrovert and you don't think you're going to be successful in that environment, just get a second job doing something else. On top of that, be frugal, save your money. That's going to help you move forward. All right, so that's tip number 1. You got to find a high income skill if you want to be successful in real estate. Tip number 2 goes hand in hand with tip number 1. And tip number 2 is build your credit. Do whatever you got to do in order to secure your credit early on in your real estate investment endeavor. You want to start building credit as soon as possible. There's a number of things that I'm going to dive into just a little bit here to give you an overview of what you will need to do. But as I said, in the follow-up videos, we're going to dive even deeper into this topic. So for starters, the first thing you want to do is get a lot of different credit options available to you, right? And use them. What do I mean by that? I mean, get out there, get a car loan, get a credit card, try to get a mortgage, get a line of credit, right? All of these help. And as you get them, don't overutilize each one of them. Try to keep your percentage of utilization around the 30-35%. Don't go above that. And again, what I mean by that is if you put a lot more than that, it's going to impact your credit score. So keep that in mind. The third thing is probably even the biggest thing of all. Pay your bills on time. When you have credit, when the bank gives you money, don't be late, right? Do not be late. Pay the bank. Even if you make the minimum payment, make the payment on time. It's going to help your credit and it's going to help you in the long run, all right? That's tip number 2. We're moving on to tip number 3, all right? This is a huge one. Once you have the money coming in, you have financing in place, the biggest problem that I see in my clients is that they're not patient enough and they don't search out that deal. They don't do the due diligence needed in order to find a deal that's going to make you money, right? They pull the trigger too quick, they're excited, and they make a mistake. So don't be that person. Take your time and find the right investment, right? That's tip number 3. Be patient, take your time, and find the right investment. There's an old adage in real estate. I think it's an adage, maybe it's a proverb. I don't know how long it's been around, right? There's a distinction there. The longer it's around, it's an adage, shorter period of time, proverb. But point being is that you make your money when you buy, right? That's when you make your money. You got to make your money when you buy. Don't be thinking that this property is going to appreciate in a few years. I'm going to be able to sell then and make some money. Don't think that. You got to make your money when you go in, right? So keep that in mind. Tip number 4, another big one. You want to learn how to do market research. You want to get an understanding of the market. You want to live, breathe, sleep, eat real estate, right? It's going to be a huge help for you. If you don't know enough about real estate, get connected. And we're going to dive into tip number 5 when we talk about that. But for now, what do you want to do in terms of market research? There's a lot of things you can do. In a later video, like I said, I'm going to show you what I do to find exceptional opportunities in the marketplace. All right? We'll dive into that. But as I said, I'll focus on this more in a follow-up video. So stick around, subscribe, like, again, to get more information on what you need to do to get good market research. For the purpose of this video, I'll give you an overarching view of what I think is important. There's a number of sources online that you can use to do market research. Some of them are free, some of them you got to pay for, but that's the cost of doing business. Important things to consider from a macro standpoint: new home construction, absorption rate, months of inventory, past sales. Look at the 90 to 180 days, sometimes 30 days as well, depending on how hot the market is. You want to keep on top of that. Understand also the real estate, each individual market, each individual neighborhood is a microcosm. Everything within that neighborhood is specific to that neighborhood. Although there's overarching micro forces that impact it, everything within that specific neighborhood has its own idiosyncrasies, and there's distinctions between neighborhood to neighborhood. And this gives you an advantage when you're competing with bigger players, because you can know your market much better than they know it, right? This will give you a leg up. It will help you find opportunities in the marketplace. It will help you determine the highest and best use of a particular property. It's going to help you determine if something's a good deal or a bad deal. And again, you get this by doing research, by being involved in real estate, by absorbing as much information as possible into your brain and learning about real estate. On a micro level, there's a number of things you can consider when you're making an investment. These include, right, proximity to downtown, proximity to infrastructure, to transportation, proximity to shopping, recreation, exposure of the property. Where is the backyard? Where is the front yard? All of these things can impact the property. And like I said, when we're going through the case study that I'm going to be doing, when I'm going through the process and finding a property that I'm going to be purchasing, I'll walk you through this and give you information on what I'm thinking as I'm going through the process, and you can apply that in your own investment. Tip number 5 is probably the biggest tip. And I know I've said that before, but I mean it. I also mean it for the previous tips, but this is a huge one. And that is to develop relationships with people within the industry, in your demographic, in your marketplace, right? You want to know people that deal with real estate, that live, breathe, eat, sleep real estate in your marketplace, and you want to learn from them. I know it sounds silly about the whole mentor thing, but it can help tremendously. My MBA had a designation in real estate development, and through that I met tremendous number of exceptional people within my marketplace, and the relationships I formed with them have really contributed to my business moving forward and growing. Another thing is that a lot of these people are very accessible, right? They want to get out there, they want to help. It's not going to cost you anything. Reach out to them, send an email, sit down for coffee, get their perspective on the market, get their perspective on the economy, get their perspective on what impacts real estate, and you're not going to go wrong. There's a number of other ways you can do that as well. If you want to reach out to, specifically in my marketplace, there's organizations that are involved in real estate development, that are involved in land entitlement, things of this nature. You can do volunteer work for them if you want, just to get your foot through the door. Just get out there and do something. Don't sit around. Don't waste your time. It's a huge part of getting involved in real estate. With that, I'm going to wrap up the video because I don't want to take too long. This is the second time I'm filming this video because the first one I filmed, the wife looked at it. She didn't give it. It was, it was done. It was too long, talked too much about things that she didn't feel people would be interested in. So for now, this is what I'm going to leave it. And like I said, in the follow-up video, I'm going to dive deeper. It's going to be a little bit longer of a video. Hopefully this helps. Those are my 5 tips. Again, if you like this content, like, subscribe, smash all the buttons down below, and I'll see you again next week with a follow-up video.